You won't believe what happened to Willy Paul last night. His car smashed, his liquor store vandalized, and the footage is absolutely shocking. The Kenyan star broke down in tears after a coordinated attack that left fans in total disbelief. But what he revealed moments later is going to leave you speechless, because this was not just a random act of violence. What if I told you the attackers were hired and the real motive goes way deeper than anyone expected? But that is not all. Wait until you see the actual CCTV footage he has posted on Instagram and what the police are saying about who really is behind it. Tears, betrayal, and a message that is sending shockwaves through the music industry. This is the shocking truth behind the Willy Paul attack, which happened yesterday night. In an emotional Instagram post that has already garnered thousands of reactions, Willy Paul, whose real name is Wilson Abubakar Radido, opened up about the traumatic experience, his voice cracking with emotion, his eyes filled with tears. And this is a man who has faced criticism before, who has weathered controversy after controversy. But this is different, this is personal, and this is an attack on his livelihood, his business, and his very sense of security.
Now, Willy Paul's liquor store has been raided, and he's come out with a statement to explain what transpired. And according to him, this is the work of goons. Goons who are hired. And those goons made it look like Willy Paul's customers, whom majority of them are students, are the ones who vandalized the place. And Willy Paul says that the goons even tried to go with the CCTV and the hard disk, but they didn't manage. And now the investigative authorities have uptaken the matter. And very soon, they're going to find out who really did this to Willy Paul. We condemn these actions in the strongest terms possible. And even if the investigative authorities have uptaken this matter, youths, mwache hiyo mchezo.
The video he shared is nothing short of horrifying. Shattered glass everywhere, bottles smashed on the ground, his car completely destroyed, and the liquor store that he had proudly opened just months ago at Safari Business Arcade along USIU Road, now looking like a war zone. This wasn't just vandalism. This was calculated, this was brutal, and this was meant to terrify. But that is not all. Wait until you see what happened next. The attack occurred late last night when the most of Nairobi was asleep. The perpetrators knew exactly when to strike. They knew exactly what they were doing. And according to Willy Paul, they were not just random criminals looking for a quick score. These were hired professional goons paid specifically to target his establishment. In his statement, which he delivered through trembling lips and tear-filled eyes, Willy Paul made it clear that he knows exactly what happened. Dear friends and supporters, I want to address an unfortunate incident that occurred last night at my liquor store. My shop was targeted by a group of hired goons who attempted to create the impression that the attack was carried out by students. Why would anyone want to blame students for this attack? This detail alone raises so many questions. Who benefits from framing young people? Who would orchestrate such an elaborate cover story? And more importantly, who paid these criminals to destroy Willy Paul's business? The artist continued, with his voice growing stronger despite the obvious pain. In reality, their sole intention was theft. They broke my car, broke into the shop, stole merchandise including some expensive alcohol, and even tried to steal the CCTV hard drive, but they were unsuccessful. The last detail is crucial. Think about that for a moment. Professional thieves hired goons breaking into a liquor store, and their priority wasn't just the alcohol. It wasn't just the money. They wanted to destroy the evidence. They wanted to make sure nobody could identify them. They wanted to erase any traces of their presence, but they failed. And that failure might be the key to unraveling this entire conspiracy. Willy Paul went on to describe the extent of the damage. They also caused significant damage to the property, including breaking windows and stealing alcohol. The financial loss is staggering. Premium bottles that cost thousands of shillings each, now gone. Windows that will cost hundreds of thousands to replace, now shattered. A car that represented years of hard work and success, now demolished. But here is where it gets even more intense. Despite the trauma, despite the fear, and despite everything he has been through, in the last 12 hours, Willy Paul made sure to address his supporters with a message of assurance. I want to assure you all that no one was injured and the police have been notified. Thank God nobody was hurt. Can you imagine if someone had been in the store during the attack? Can you imagine if a security guard had confronted these criminals? This could have been so much worse. This could have been a tragedy that went beyond property damage, and yet even in his moment of crisis, Willy Paul's first concern was for the safety of others. Investigations are already underway and we are working closely with the authorities to apprehend those responsible. Willy Paul stated firmly, his resolve clearly unshaken despite the ordeal. The Kenyan police have indeed launched a full investigation into the incident. Detectives are currently reviewing the CCTV footage that the criminals failed to steal. They are interviewing witnesses, they are following leads, and according to sources close to the investigation, they already have several suspects in mind. This is not just another burglary case. This is a coordinated attack on a public figure. This is a crime that has captured national attention, and the authorities know that solving this case quickly is crucial, not just for Willy Paul but for every business owner in Nairobi who wonders if they could be next. The question everyone is asking is, who ordered this attack? Who has a grudge against Willy Paul so deep, so personal that they would hire criminals to destroy his business? The artist has had his share of controversies over the years. His transition from gospel music to secular entertainment raised eyebrows. His outspoken personality has made him enemies. But this goes beyond a simple disagreement or a social media spat. This is criminal, this is dangerous, and this is the kind of vendetta that doesn't end until someone gets caught or something worse happens. Wait until you hear what industry insiders are saying about this. To understand the full impact of this attack, we need to understand what this business means to Willy Paul. This wasn't just another investment. This was not just a side hustle. This liquor store represented something bigger, legitimacy in the business world, financial security beyond music, and a legacy he could build for the future. Willy Paul was born on September 1st, 1993, which makes him 31 years old. He has spent more than a decade in the music industry, navigating the complex waters of fame, fortune, and public scrutiny. He started as a gospel artist, winning the Male Artist of the Year at the 2013 Groove Awards. He built a massive following with the hits that inspired millions, and then he made a controversial decision to transition into the secular music. The response on social media has been overwhelming, with thousands of fans and fellow celebrities have taken to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to express their support for Willy Paul. The hashtag "We Support Willy Paul" has been trending since this morning, and fellow musicians, even those who have had public disagreements with Willy Paul in the past, have spoken out against the attack, because at the end of the day, this isn't about personal beefs or professional rivalry. This is about the fundamental right to operate a business without fear of violence. This is about the rule of law. This is about standing together against criminal behavior. But not everyone is sympathetic. Some commenters on social media have suggested that Willy Paul brought this upon himself. They point to his controversial past, his provocative behavior, his tendency to court attention through scandal. They argue that when you live by the sword, you die by the sword. As we close this chapter of the story, we are left with more questions than answers. Who ordered the attack on Willy Paul's liquor store? Will the police investigation lead to arrest? Will the stolen merchandise be recovered? Will the CCTV footage reveal the identities of the perpetrators and, more importantly, their employers? These questions will be answered in time. Investigations are ongoing and justice, we hope, will be served. But beyond the immediate criminal case, there are larger lessons to be learned from this incident. Willy Paul's response to this crisis demonstrates the power of transparency and resilience. Instead of hiding, he shared a brutal truth, which his supporters, instead of closing down in fear, he kept his business open. Instead of seeking revenge through social media, rants, or vigilante justice, he's working with proper authorities to bring the criminals to justice. We'll continue to follow up on this story as it develops. We bring you updates on the police investigation, any arrests that are made, and Willy Paul's journey to rebuild and strengthen his business in the aftermath of this attack. In the meantime, if you found this coverage informative, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this developing story. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the police will catch those responsible? What security measures should business owners take to protect themselves? And what message does this attack send to entrepreneurs in Kenya? Let us know what you think, and remember, when someone tries to tear you down, the best response is to build yourself back up, stronger than before, and that is exactly what Willy Paul is doing right now, and that's a lesson we can all learn from him.